What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a fragrance from Michael Kors, and this is a vintage juice. So I'll make that stipulation for you guys when we get into the review. But this is a fragrance that came out around the year 2000, and it is an original juice from that time period. So 26 years later, let's see what it's hitting for. Go ahead and strap up and let's go for that ride. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Hey, listen, from the house of Michael Kors, we have original Michael Kors for men, vintage. Let's see if we can get that on the screen for you guys. And let's see if I can give you guys any background information on this before we get started. And again, I may just stop the camera if I pulled up the wrong fragrance. I'm pretty sure I found the right one though. Classified as an Aromatic Fougere for men, launched in 2001. The nose behind this is Harry Fremont, and it got a 4.2 out of 5 with 1,000 votes. So it's old school, but again, due to its classification being an Aromatic Fougere, let's see what it's hitting for. You know, what kind of Fougere that experience we get. You guys saw my video a while back on Fougere. You've seen me talk about the various renditions that it can have. And so I'm excited to bring this to you guys to see what it's hitting for and see if it's still available. Oh, wow. Wow. I want to actually put that on a test strip because on skin, it's crazy. Okay, this is masculine as crap in the best way possible, but it's got a lot of interesting things and nostalgia and bells going off in my head in terms of like what it points me to. It's got this very, you guys heard me say this a while back. I compared a fragrance to Murray's hair grease. And if you're not black or ethnic, you know, in terms of your hair or having used that from a Sally's Beauty Supply store, you won't understand this, but hair grease, you know, Sport and Waves, Murray's, anything like that. There's kind of this like somewhat petrol, somewhat sweet, somewhat woody oil kind of. It's like almost like a boozy wood with like a petrol kind of feel to it. Yeah, it's almost like a hair grease, but it's lifted up with all this freshness to be like slightly sweet. I get this cinnamon, I get this amber, but then there's like all this aromatic stuff. Now, typically like an Aromatic Fougere, I think about as being like an outdoor fresh green. And I don't really get the green outdoors. I get more of this intimate, slightly boozy amber type of thing, but then it's lifted aromatically without feeling green at all. Very unique scent. I think the only thing that kind of creeps my mind into this is something like M7 from YSL or like, but it's not as intimate as that. This is more masculine, less sweet. Also like a Bentley for Men OG, but then there's this like super aromatic lift on it though. And then it dries down to this kind of sweet green and red. It's like sweet green, but then this it's ambered and it's spice. We got to go to the notes here, guys. Let's go ahead and switch screens here. 4.25 out of 5, close to 1,000 votes. The notes: Star Anise, Fir Resin, cinnamon. Okay, so I'm getting all this spices and green. That's why I said red and green. Red meaning like this kind of spiced amber thing, but then there's all this green lift. Star Anise, Fir Resin, cinnamon, cardamom, tarragon, coriander, caraway, bergamot. You'll almost rarely ever see this kind of note pairing going on, especially not as top notes. In the mid, tobacco, incense, and suede. No real heavy tobacco, but you do get this woody, ashy sense. The incense is kind of the dark tone to this, the suede, then dry fruits, plum, patchouli, and sandalwood. It's really interesting because like This part in the mid and in the base reminds me very much so of like a By Killian Straight to Heaven style, but then they just pimped it out with all this aromatic top. And that's what makes it so much more unique than a Straight to Heaven, because it's like this very juxtaposing style of fragrance. And normally that creates contrast, but in this fragrance, it really works as like a very unique scent. I want to show you guys something. This is very impromptu, but let's look at Ombre Noir from Lalique, because I want to show you guys something. So with Ombre Noir, what I really love about this fragrance is, look at this middle right here. It's very reflective. And matter of fact, let's see if what fragrances it says this smells like, if any. Let's see if there's anything I recognize. Spicy Leather from Ferragamo. I do kind of get that. This is a little bit more unique than Spicy Leather, but I do kind of, I'm glad that was a reference point, because if you've smelled Spicy Leather from Ferragamo, this is very close. Anything else? Azzaro Pour Homme. It's got the aromatic lift, but it's not spicy and peppery and brittle like Azzaro Chrome. That's a very sharp fragrance, but it does have a similar kind of like pop to it, like a Kouros or something. But the underbelly of this is very much like a sexy sweet amber that's kind of airy. Interesting. Okay, so what I want to talk about here before we come back to these notes is how contrast can really work with a fragrance. So they took a tobacco, vanilla, resin type of thing, right, in cognac. So it's very almost like Angel Cherish meets La Malle Elixir meets some kind of amouage undercarriage to this fragrance, which I think is a masterclass, which is Ombre Noir from Lalique. It's a fragrance not a lot of people put their nose to unless you're a fan of Lalique. But what makes a fragrance like this so cool is it's nothing like Wajan or Angel Share or an Amouage or those type of or La Malle Elixir, because of what they do here. Fig leaf, mint, bergamot, papyrus. It takes that sexy, seductive cognac feel and gives it all of this like crazy bright lift, and even these facets of green that kind of do similar to what lavender does in La Malle Elixir. And it just gives it this like animated brightness that makes it fresher and more versatile. So you don't just have to do date night or some type of romantic evening. This could totally be like a bachelor guy's masculine sundown scent, you know, anything after 4 or 5 p.m. I really am digging this vintage Michael Kors, but this is why I like Ombre Noir. Now, if we look back at this, if we just covered up this section and just looked at this for a second, this is very reminiscent of a lot of stuff we see in the marketplace today, which is encouraging. You know, this looks good. But then when you see all this up top, you might be led to believe like, well, what the heck is this? It's pretty much like a Straight to Heaven style DNA, or like even a Tobacco Vanille, but think more Plum Paragonish. This is very Initio Paragonish. But then it just gets all this crazy green spiced lift to it. And it kind of, again, it adds this green, this kind of Coach greenish, Spice Bomb Night Vision-ish lift to this red ambery plum thing going on. And it creates a unique scent. You know, a lot of times when you contrast ideas, it doesn't always work out. This is a very unique one-of-one scent to me. That just combines a lot of beautiful ideas, and the blend is masterful. I don't think performance is going to be too stellar on it, but because it's more of an intimate scent, I don't mind it at all. Let's go to some usual suspects. Okay, this is a 4-men scent, but honestly, I think it could creep unisex. I would say I would call this unisex masculine leaning. There's some women who I think would be sexy in this, but I think as a woman, this is kind of like your fur coat, black dress night. You know, you're in your black, tiny little black dress or whatever. Kind of Corella de Villish / posh romantic black dress night girl type of thing. But you know, it has a fruity lift to it. Anyway, fall, winter leaning. If it's spring, summer, you need a breeze and you need the sun down. It's a sunset and up time frame type of fragrance. It's semi-formal, it's formal, it's date night, it's romance, it's bacheloresque. Again, the version I'm wearing is the 2001 version. It's the original. Can you get this today? It looks to be super discontinued. I know you can get a Michael Kors Pour Homme today, but I don't think that's what this is. Dang, what a great fragrance this was. Yeah, I don't even think you guys can get this. Can you get it from their main website? No. Dang. So I'm going to pull out real quick. Let's see if you can score this on eBay. Vintage Michael Kors fragrance. Let's do men. Okay. So you can get it. 70, so $80. As an EDT, you know, it punches. I would say this probably at least goes 4 or 5 hours. And for an EDP, that's impressive. Yeah, so it's pricey, but man, I think this would be a total type of collector's dream here. Man, I'm going to hit my Vintage Connect and see if you can score a bottle of this. I feel like I've seen it. Very good fragrance. Okay, let's zoom out. Sprays on this. I'm hitting myself a lot with this because it's sexy. It's sexy fresh. I'm going 8 to 12 sprays on this. I don't even care because the aromatic lift on it makes it a kind of hybrid fragrance in the same way that you would wear like a Eros or a Prada Luna Rosa Ocean or a Valentino Uomo. This fits into the day, into the night type of fragrance where it's intimate, but it's super fresh. Man, I need to go back and smell M7 to see kind of the difference here. But, man, I just keep putting my nose to it. Masterful blend, man. I mean, I would at least give it a 9. At least a 9. At least. We'll leave it at that. I'm not going to fantasize here and fluff it up too much. I'm going to sit with it for a while. It's a 9 for me, guys. You got to get your nose on it. If you can get your hands on vintage, definitely do so. I don't think you blind buy this bottle because, you know, it's vintage. You know, you got to make sure you have a reliable source and all that. And there's a lot of other fragrances that'll do this for you. But man, as a vintage fragrance, you know, now 25 years old, this is a staple vintage piece that I would love to have in my collection just because it's similar, but it's also really unique. I think I've said enough about this fragrance. With vintage fragrances, I kind of just want to share it with you to be like, you know, get your nose on this. It looks to be discontinued entirely. So if you want it, you either have to know somebody who can get you a sample of it. There's a vintage website where you can decant vintage called like something by chance or something. Type vintage fragrances by chance on Google and you'll probably pull up the, matter of fact, I'm so sorry. You guys are going to have to go on the road. By chance vintage fragrances. You guys want this type of information, right? Something by surrender to chance. Okay. So buy vintage fragrances. And I don't think this is bottles. I think this is more like you search vintage fragrances. Yeah. Because see, even the categories like 1960s retro fragrances, you can start looking through them and all that. And then they even educate you. So that's really dope. Surrendertochance.com. All right, let's get out of here. Again, from the house of Michael Kors, this is the original Michael Kors for Men from 2001. And yes, I am smelling an original juice. There is no reformulation because it was discontinued. So you got to go on that website or find somebody you know that has it or shop on eBay. The price point is reasonable for a vintage classic like this, in my opinion. Definitely get your nose on it, though. It fills a really cool hybrid category. For 2001, this would have been a really nice signature scent. I think it would have stood out from the rest. And it is just nice. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. Have you guys smelled this before? Original Michael Kors. I know I've reviewed some Michael Kors on here, but vintage fragrances. Give me some dominant masculine vintage fragrances that you guys want to see on the channel, and I will see if I can get them. I think one of the reasons people love this channel, and it's growing despite me uploading all these dry reviews, is I put people on to so many things they've never heard of that you can affordably get into. Whether it's super expensive or super cheap, it's just stuff you don't quite hear about. Yes, I will cover the typical stuff that everybody's talking about, but then we're going to go behind all that and see like, well, hey, if you want to be different, if you want to go on a nose journey, if you want to have some stuff and try some stuff that really excites you about perfumery and gets you like just in the world of what's going on. I remember the first time I kind of really got into buying fragrance and just saw like, wow, there's this whole underworld of perfumery and it's massive and you can't cover it all. Like it's just indefinite. And then with the boom in perfumery here now in 2026, it's like now more than ever, people are creating so many more fragrances. It's endless. You can never run dry on discovering new perfumes. And so that's what I want to bring to this channel. If my camera was off, I would be doing this. I'd be kind of hunting for all the stuff and really trying to educate myself because I have a passion for it. And at my age, this is a really good hobby. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Again, original vintage 2001 Michael Kors. Let me know in the comments your guys' feedback or if you have any questions on it. I'd love to help you out. I'm going to throw 2 videos up on the board based off what you've been searching for so you can continue enjoying this content that I drop every single day. Hey, the channel's been out for less than 2 years, and I've dropped a video or 2 or 3 or 4 every single day since I've came out. So I'm dedicated to this. I'm not leaving you guys behind, and I'm giving you an abundance of content because I am on an abundant journey. Hope you guys stay blessed, and until next time, SB signing out.